Hello everybody, my name is Adam Townsend, and today we're going to be programming this in Visual Basic. So what it is a deck cost calculator where you put in your square footage, select your wood type, and then it will tell you how much it will be for that. So here's an example. Let's say you're getting 25 square feet. You want redwood, calculate, there's the cost, you can clear it, and that's about it. This is the code we're going to be writing. Alright, so let's get this started. We're going to start by opening Visual Studios, and we're going to create new project. We're then going to do Windows Form Application and title it. So to open Visual Studios, you can just hit your Windows key or this thing down here. You can type in VIS. Visual Studios should pop up. I'm using 2017, but if you're using a newer version or later version, it will be pretty much the same. So like we said, create new project, and Windows Form Application is already set. Make sure there is a VB here that stands for Visual Basic, as you can see over here. We don't want C# or C++, whatever. And here is the name. So there aren't going to be spaces in the name because that's just the rule. The first letter of every word is capitalized. And then location, browse, we're going to create a new folder, so you can just really put this wherever, but I'm putting it under my programming folder, and then you can create a new folder if you want. Alright, so hit select folder, and okay. Alright, so now we have what's called a form. This is your workspace for your graphic user interface, which stands for, basically, it's just graphics, meaning you can see it. User interface is what the users use. Alright, and so we're going to go to what's called the toolbox, and this is where you can find many things, like if you want words on your screens, buttons, things to click, things to type in, whatever. So a label is basically just the word, as you can see, label 1. Now over here under your properties panel, this is where everything is going to be, like if you want to rename it. So if we go to text, wherever that is, I don't have my glasses on. Alright, we'll go to name. So we're going to shorten it, label as an LBL, and then it's going to be title, because it's going to be the title. There can't be any spaces, and again we're doing the capitalized for the first word. Alright, so it didn't really change anything, but when you're coding, that's when it'll actually change it. And so deck cost, this one can have spaces. Deck cost calculator, there we go. Now here is designing the user interface. Now this explains, you can pause it right now or you can come back to this, exactly which thing is which, and this is where you can edit labels, buttons, etc. And so this is where it's going to be. And now under here you can also find a font. There we go, font. Now obviously you can personalize this, but I like this thing. And then for a title I always go bold. We want it to be big. 20 about, that's good. Now if you go to click and drag this where you want, but obviously this is off center, it will be annoying for OCD people. Go to format up here, center and form, and horizontally. That just makes it exactly down the middle, which looks real nice. Alright, back to your toolbox, click search in toolbox, and then we're gonna go back to label. We're gonna just drag and drop that right here. Name. Label stands for LBL, and square footage. Remember, no spaces or else an error message will come up here. Then we'll go back down to text. I mean, I don't know if it's up or down, but whatever. Square footage, and then a colon. Alright, now we're not going to change the font yet because we're going to change it all at once, because we're going to select all of them and then do that. So back to the toolbox. So for this one, text, this one's going to be cost estimate. There we go. This one for now is just going to be $$ X, comma, XXX, period, XX, because that's just a placeholder for what the money could be. Alright, and then we didn't name this one yet. What is it? Alright, so for name, it's going to be LBL, no space, cost. All right, and then for this one, the name will be LBL estimate. All right, now we're gonna add a text box right here, which is basically a place where users can input their own text. Since they're not putting anything, we're just gonna put the text 888. Why 8s? Because 8 is the biggest digit that you can input. And then we're gonna just drag it to be like the size of the 8s. Now again, we're gonna resize this in a little bit. Alright, so here, we can just do that now. So drag and drop, this selects all of them. We're gonna go to font. I think I would have this memorized by now. Alright. Tahoma, yeah. Regular. I'll make it like 16, that's pretty good. Yeah. And so we don't want anything getting cut off here. See that? And also under font, not under font, text alignment, under text alignment, we're gonna go to center. If you look at the text box real quick, it just moves it to the center a little bit. So that's the only reason you don't need to do that, but it looks nice. Alright, now we're gonna add what's called radio buttons. And just put that there. We forgot to name the text box. That's an important part to name it. Alright. Text box TB. Oh wait, no, it's TXT. Stupid. Alright, text box square footage. Oh wow, that's horrible spelling. Alright, it's gonna be that, whatever. Don't look at it. Alright, and this will be label square footage. I already did that one, yeah. Radio button under name is RDO, and then we're gonna name this one lumbar. And then under text, it'll be pressure dash treated lumber. There we go. Pressure treated lumber says it there. It's the button. Whoop-de-doo. Alright, another one. Make that 2. Alright, so these are different. This is where the user can click it, see what type of wood they want. Composite. Alright, that's good. Composite wood. I like composite wood. Redwood. Oh yeah, that's some redwood there. Alright, name. We gotta name these boys or girls, whatever. RDO, redwood. RDO, composite. Alright, and so we also have to, and it will just say decking type text. Alright, this one is decking typ type. Alright, now this kind of looks clustered, so we're just gonna, and then over to font again. Yeah, that looks pretty alright. Now you want everything to be like lined up so it looks nice. And then we're gonna go to format and center this one. Again, you can really make this however you want, but I want to make it look nice. No, wait, we forgot to add the buttons. Alright, so we're gonna have 2 buttons here. Again, that's in the toolbox. Toolbox is where you find anything. This button, it's going to say under name button, it's BTN, and this one's calculate. Alright, and then text. Calculate. And this button, the text will be clear. And then the label will also say, the name will also say BTN clear. Alright, and then we're gonna make these bigger. Why not? And then font 16. My dude, Tumaha. Actually, we'll make them 20 because we're that cool. Forgot to add an E on the end of calculate. Where's text? Oh, I do have the E, it's just not big enough. Ta-da. Alright, and then we'll move these close to each other and then format center it. Oh yeah, that's nice. Alright, so in order to get to our code menu, we will double click clear. Here we are. So basically what this line of code says is that when you hit clear, the following will do the thing. Here's me explaining what we will be using when we start the coding. So when putting a this thing, I don't know what it's called, it doesn't actually affect the code. It's just something humans can read. So basically go behind public class form1, enter, 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 and then go up here, and then hit this thing. It's to the left of your enter button, and then you can type your name so people reading the code can see, and then enter again, and then we can, oops, that's a quotation mark. Oh my gosh. Alright. And you can say deck cost calculator, just so anyone reading the code will know what this code does. Alright, so I'm gonna quickly write all this and then explain it all. So here's our 3 lines of code for clearing the text. Now this is text square footage. Now that's this text box, that's the name we named it. Text square footage. Alright, dot focus. Now basically what focus means is when you hit start, alright, let it load, that's the green arrow, it's automatically selected here. This is automatically selected. Exit out here. Label cost dot text. That means this is cost dot text. That means, so label cost, it's selecting the cost label, dot text, meaning what it says, equals quotation marks, and there's nothing there, meaning it will say nothing. And then text square footage equals clear. Dot clear, meaning it will clear it. So let's test this out, see if it actually does clear it. Hit clear, boom, there's nothing there, and there's nothing there. Alright. And so you successfully written some code that should work, hopefully. Alright, now here's form 1. Don't rename it after you start working on it. I don't know why, but we're gonna go to text and just name it deck cost calculator. There can be spaces in this. You can just see it just changed it up here. It didn't actually do anything. Now double click on the form. That's the white space anywhere. It'll create this. And now this is basically as soon as the program starts, this is what's going to happen. We're going to go to label cost. Again, that's this. That's the name of this. Dot text. That means what it's going to say. Space equals space. Quotation marks. Doesn't say anything. So now, instead of having the X's when it starts, it has nothing. There we go. So that's good. And then we're going to go to the text text square footage dot clear. That just means it cleared it of any inputs. So now instead of 8s, it got nothing. And it's selected automatically, but we're still going to do this anyways. Text square footage dot focus. So we didn't really need to have it, but it's still nice to have. Now I like to have spaces in between here, but it doesn't actually matter if you put empty spaces in between your stuff. I just like to do that. And so you can read this, it explains it. Now obviously this is a little bit different. They have the X's, I have the X's here, but I didn't have the X's there. It's all personal choice. Now moving on. Now this is our majority of the code. And this basically, we're going to explain everything before we write it. Now, the word dim means declares. Now, if you look at line 15 here, I'm declaring DEC decimal footage will be a decimal. Now, we're writing this. Now, you could say just footage, not DEC, and it wouldn't change anything because it's not a set word like decimal as dim. This is our own word. We're saying that DEC footage is a decimal. Now, under here, for these 3, we're declaring the decimal lumber cost is equal to $2.35. See that? It's saying the wood is that much money. Now if we move down here, we're saying it's a bunch of if-then statements. So if is numeric, meaning number, the text square footage. If it's a number, then it carries on. But if else, if it's not a number, the message box, enter the square footage of decking, input error, will show up. Meaning, if you didn't put in a good number, then it'll just tell you, yo, put in a good number. Alright, so moving on, so it says we do have a good number. If rad lumber was checked, then the cost for square footage is rad lumber. But if it wasn't rad lumber checked, it'll move on and see if redwood was checked. If it was, then the cost will be, redwood's price. If not, it moves down the list. And then finally composite is checked. And then we're going to end if. So again, here you can see it sees what type of wood is selected, then determines the cost per square foot. Now, the cost equals square footage times the cost per square foot. Here we can see DEC cost estimate. So the cost is equal to DEC footage, how many feet we're doing, times DEC cost per square foot, where we saw here how much it costs. And then this line displays the cost. The label total cost dot text, meaning the word, equals cost estimate to string C, which is just saying it's just going to display it. So here we have the error message. If the input's not a positive number, the box will appear saying error. And this is if you hit calculator and there is no number, an error message is also going to display. Now I'm going to write this all out real quick by going to our form, double clicking calculate. Now here's what says if you hit calculate, this will happen. Alright, so here's a little error that I made. I did RDO, but it's actually RAD. Radio button. Now this actually changes the code a lot. We need it to say RAD, or else it will not work. So sorry about that. I'll put a little thing in fixing it. Label total cost, yeah. It's actually just going to be cost, since we had it cost. We didn't name it total cost. We're going to save this, because mine is not set to autosave. We're going to see if it all works now. Enter the square footage of decking. That's what I did. I didn't program that other part. Alright, let's see if you wanted to do this and not do that. Enter the square footage of decking. Let's see if you did -2. You entered -2, enter a positive number. Wow, it's all good. Alright, 21, composite, calculate, 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 clear. We're all good in the hood. Everything is good. We made a program and it works. Now, make sure that you typed in what you named it, your items, correctly, or else it won't work, like I did with the rad instead of radio and all that. So again, I really hope this tutorial was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it and all that. And thank you. My name's Adam Townsend. Go to Greensburg Salem High School. Enjoy.